Hi, freshmen and sophomores. This is Mr. Dunn, Director of Community Engagement, and today I'm going to explain the changes to the Community Engagement Program that are going to affect you effective immediately. So I'm introducing a new way for you to satisfy the community engagement requisite at the school. No longer are you going to be required to complete mandatory hours. We're doing away with that approach. And we're doing away with it for a number of reasons that I'm going to allow you to read about, but I don't want to get into the nitty gritty right now. Instead, what we're going to be doing is all 10th and 11th grade students are going to be using this community engagement portfolio to guide their creation of a project that is directed towards a specific challenge. And as you can tell by the tabs and by the new logo for community engagement, you can see that we're going to use a particular approach called the Think, Act, Reflect approach. And if you look at the tabs on the side, you can see the Think, Act, Reflect approach is kind of broken into what's called the IPARD approach to service learning. So this portfolio was already shared with you and you were asked to make a copy of it. It was sent to your email. If not, I'll give you a second. I'll give you a minute to look for that and also take some preliminary steps to get started on this because this can be started in earnest. So let's take a look at the portfolio. Okay, so in short, like I said, we're doing away with hours and who. This is affecting all 10th and 11th graders for next year. The rising 9th graders who are in 8th grade right now are going to have a little bit of a different requisite. And next year's seniors are going to be mentors. Many of them will be. So you are not concerned with what is required of the 9th and the 12th grade, more so what's required of you. I'm going to encourage you to click on a lot of the links as you go through the portfolio because they're going to answer most of your questions. I'm not going to get into the Think, Act, Reflect approach and what it means, but basically we want you to do more than just go out and serve. We want you to learn about issues. We want you to have firsthand experiences with issues, and we want you to demonstrate your understanding of issues and reflect on some of the broader concerns that are associated with it. So where are you going to go? Well, you're going to choose where you would like to work and what issue you're going to investigate. However, I encourage you to work with one nonprofit. So if you really are interested in combating hunger and learning more about unequal access to food and so forth, then you might choose to work with just the San Diego Food Bank. When you can start right now if you want to. You can use this folder to start guiding you. Why? Because we want you as sophomore and juniors, now that you've had some experiences at different nonprofits, to dig deeper into one issue. Okay. I'm not asking you to do a specific number of hours. I'm asking you to really invest in a topic and to spend the time that you think is necessary to learn more about the issue. So how are you going to do this? You're going to follow the directions in this portfolio, which starts right now. What I'd like you all to do is I'd like you guys to go to your computer and you're going to create a Google Drive folder and you're going to use the naming convention that is indicated here. So teachers, after I explain this, you're going to push pause in the video and you're going to allow students a minute or two to go create a Google Drive folder that they're going to be using next year. So let me show you real quickly what the folder will look like and the process for that. I think you all know how to make a Google Drive folder. We'll just go into new, go to folder, title the folder the way is indicated in here. So what does it ask you to do? It asks you to title your folder Community Engagement, your graduation year, your first name, your last name. So you go in here, community, take away the hyphens. Okay, we don't need any hyphens in there. Community engagement. So you're the class of 23. Type in 23. Type in your last name, and then your first. Doe John. If you're John Doe, create. Okay, and now you have created your community engagement folder. Okay. Now, after you create your community engagement folder, what I'd like you to do is make sure you have a copy of this presentation inside the folder, because you're going to use this portfolio to guide you. So this is the link that was sent to you, and it's going to force you to make a copy of this presentation. So you'll have this entire presentation inside your community engagement folders. So teachers, I'll give you a second to push pause, and I'll come back and I'll explain some more. Okay, so now we're back. We have a folder. We have a copy of this portfolio inside the folder. It's been shared with your advisor and me. You may not know who your advisor is going to be next year, so go ahead and hold off. You don't have to share it quite yet, but you still have it in your Google Drive. I want to boil this down to very simple terms right now, okay? You're going to go through 3 basic steps, all right? During trimester 1, we'd like you to do the investigating and planning. You can file all the bulleted points there to understand what I mean by that. By the end of trimester 2, we'd like you to have gone out and worked through direct outreach, indirect service, research, or advocacy, or a combination of all these approaches to address the issue that interests you, okay? As always, we want you to push yourself out of your comfort zone. If you click on the FAQs on the first page, you'll notice that some of the things that we allowed this year are not necessarily permissible next year. So please click on the FAQs down at the bottom to understand what a project is and so forth. But there's going to be more guidance throughout here. And then, like I said, all right, by the end of trimester 3, you're going to share your project, okay? You're going to pick the way you want to share it. You might want to share this entire portfolio. You might want to share the results of your efforts in another way. But if you follow this portfolio, you're going to be able to do a presentation that allows you to celebrate what you've done and share with your classmates, okay? So quickly going to take you through some students contributing to this portfolio throughout with their editing and photos. Thank you, students. All right, I have some questions to get you started in the Think tab, okay? You'll answer those questions in your copy of the portfolio. After you start doing some preliminary thinking about it, this is an issue that interests me, and then you're going to start investigating that issue, all right? Thinking about the root causes of the challenge, all right? And you're also going to educate yourself. You're going to use some trusted online resources, maybe talk to experts in the field, interview people, all right? You're going to try to cite your sources throughout, all right? You're going to answer a few more questions to help you understand the issue and the nonprofit you might be working with. You're going to kind of share and think about some myths about the issue and then the facts behind that. I have examples throughout here and links to follow. All right, and then you're going to start planning. Okay, so, okay, what's my timeline? Trimester 1 or before, I've picked my cause. All right, now I've started calendaring. When I've done that, I've picked my partners. You can do a group project, that's fine. And then you're going to go out and do, all right? As you do your work, make sure you're documenting your work and make sure you're taking pictures, maybe some videos. You no longer have to get a form signed, that awkward exchange at the end that made it sometimes feel like you were there for the wrong reasons. Doesn't have to occur, but you can if you want to. And then you're going to do a little reflection and demonstration at the end. All right. So this is your plan. All right. And now you're acting. You're going to tell us, or you're going to tell your classmates what you did. All right, where it took you, whether or not you did what you expected you were going to do. Maybe you're going to share some videos or some photos that you took during your project. We have a lot of students that are going to show you examples of projects after this presentation. All right, there's more space for your photos and videos or links. All right, we're going to ask you to reflect then and think about, wow, how does this relate to issues that we sometimes hear about in the area of diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. There's a lot of intersection there, all right? Or even deeper issues. I want you to reflect on this parable, all right, which you'll read. And then you'll share some of your takeaways. Things you learned about yourself, all right? Things you learned about others, reflections on empathy. And then finally, you're going to demonstrate. You're going to share some hard data, but also what you're going to do is you're going to think about, okay, how do I want to share this with my peers? Okay, you don't have to do a presentation in front of your peers and just share this journal. You could do other things. You could create a website, all right, if you wanted to. You could host your own Harkness, all right? You could create a display of public art, for example, or bring in some art and talk about the art. Really, it's up to you how you want to share your work. Okay, your advisor is going to be guiding you through this, but you're also going to have me to help you. We're going to have time set out during advisories for you to think about and investigate, and then also reflect and demonstrate your work. So we're hoping you to dig deep into an issue, a challenge, and that you're able to share a lot of good information with your peers. I hope this isn't too much work. I don't think it is when we break it down into pieces. And yeah, it's time for a new chapter. So thank you, and get ready to listen to some good presentations and see some examples of what a project might look like.